Folks, you want to stay seated for this conversation because we're really excited to have here some amazing people. And of course, there's going to be a reception afterwards for those who wait. It gives me great pleasure to introduce, we'll start with the executive producer of the film, Margaret Loeb. Thank you so much for being here, Margaret. We have Zevi Samet here from the team. Zevi, coming up. And the man himself, Coach Elliot. Please welcome Coach Elliot. There are some other team members here. Is that true? They left. They know what happens at the end. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this film with us. And there's so much to discuss here. I'm gonna start with a few questions, but then we'll open to questions for the audience. And I have a lot to ask, so be ready to be a part of this conversation. Margaret, maybe let's start with you and tell us how this started for you, why you wanted to make this film.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. My children went to the JCC nursery school, so it's a real pleasure to be back here. Honestly, Jesse Angelo, who was involved with this project, brought me this film. He knew about the nonprofit that I have, Lismore Road, which is a social impact production company where we make lots of kinds of films and mostly try to bring them to people to generate conversation and get people to think in nuanced ways. So honestly, since Lismore Road was making all kinds of films and interested in all kinds of issues, but since October 7th, I, like many Jewish people, kind of reprioritized, and I think Jesse knew that, and we were interested in making something, I thought, which would be somewhat about Jewish joy and sports, and what a great way to tell the story in a different way about October 7th and the Jewish people.
It's definitely, I think it's a story that hasn't been told yet. You know, there's been so many stories told in so many times in so many different ways. And I want to get back to the impact of this in a bit, but I want to bring our YU folks here. Maybe first of all, give us a quick update since where we left off in the film, how this year went.
You want to take it? This year went a little better. We had a little bit of an up and down year this year. We played a very tough schedule. End of the year thankfully culminated with a conference championship and the trip to the NCAA tournament that you didn't see last year.
It was too late to edit that in. That was the. And let me ask, how do you explain this recent rise of the YU team? I
mean, we've been lucky enough over the last 9-10 years to bring in some pretty high-level guys, basketball-wise, some really good players. And mostly, honestly, it's really a family atmosphere there, and we've been able to bring in guys who are probably a little higher level than what we've had in the past, and certainly what's in our conference. And the draw has been their common background. So while we have guys from really all ranges of religious observance, from guys who look like Zevi to guys who are, tattoos and earrings, all Jewish and all kind of sharing that same brotherhood. And I think that's been a really big advantage for us.
Zevi, I want to know from you, also from your perspective, having this, how do you explain the success from your side?
This season?
This season and last season. I mean, the recent rise.
Yeah. I think I'm a big believer in failure leads to success. I failed a lot in my life, whether in school, basketball. But I believe that the only way we were able to overcome what we did this year through the tough challenge schedule and the tough adversity that we had was by losing last year. As tough as it was, it would have looked a lot cooler in the movie, in the video, if we would have won. But, just because we were doing so many good things for the Jewish people and for the platform that we had, it would have been really cool for all of us. But to realize that God had a bigger plan and it would have only made us stronger. And that's what we were able to accomplish this year.
So obviously October 7th plays a huge role in this film, and there's a real balance between these two stories. And I would say that October 7th, I think the directors are aiming us to say that actually October 7th inspired some success. Is that something that continues to play a part within all the pride that's there?
For sure. Obviously, before I begin to answer that, I want to shout out somebody who's in this room, Mr. Posner, who runs Athletes for Israel. Yeah, it would have been cool to put, it's not cool, but it made the documentary look a little bit, better by having all the film of October 7th stuff in it. But a lot of it came to do with Mr. Posner and Athletes for Israel bringing us to Israel and being able to experience a lot of the stuff that we saw firsthand and be able to inspire the Jewish people there and the Israeli people. So a lot of the film would not have happened without him. And just in general, I think that it just gave us a bigger perspective of why we're playing basketball, and that there's more to life than just basketball, and it's how you use the God-given talents that God's given you to use that as a bigger platform. So October 7th and post-October 7th just really showed us that we're here to play basketball, of course, but we're here to show the Jewish people that through playing basketball, there's a lot bigger things to do, and we're just here to use the platform to inspire. So that's what I think it really did for us. And also, we have 7 Israelis on the team, and to be with them while their families are, whether in a very dark place, a lot of us, we all have relatives there, but it's a little bit distant for us physically. But to be with all the guys on the team and show support and show them that they're not alone has been amazing for us.
And there's 2 topics that I want to jump in there for a moment. October 7th, obviously everything's changed specifically in the college world, which is the arena that you're playing in. And I know this is a tough topic, but have there been reactions from other sides to a Jewish team that's very proud?
I'll take that one for you. There has been. It's obviously a challenging time on college campuses in general. Our college students around the country probably need better education in a lot of different ways. I will say this, we have not experienced, I don't think, one instance of anti-Semitism or anything on the court. We haven't had an issue with a player, we haven't had an issue with a coach, we haven't had an issue with anybody who's kind of inside the lines, so to speak, of the sport itself, which to me has always been very telling. Where we've experienced some issues have been obviously fans. It's really few and far between. I think it's 2 or 3 times over the last couple of years. Most recently in one of the colleges that's probably about to lose their federal funding. But for the most part, in terms of the sport itself, the coaches and the athletes have been not just understanding, supportive. I remember last year, early on in the season, when our trip got announced, before we actually went, one of the schools we were playing, their coach came over, asked if they could do a fundraiser to help fund the trip. Sorry, Mr. Posner, I forgot to take him up on it. But we had a lot of messages like that. We were up at Mount St. Mary's in Newburgh, New York, and the president of the school got up before the game, spoke to the entire crowd about their support of Yeshiva University and their support of Israel. So we really did see a lot of support out there. The hate that we experienced in terms of on the court was non-existent, and few and far between, really, in the stands.
That makes me very hopeful. Margaret, I want to take this back to you now that we've heard all of this. The impact of this film. I think we agree here that film is about its important impact. And tell us a little bit about your hopes of how this film will impact an audience and what this audience can do to help that.
Well, thank you. We are fundraising for the Impact Campaign, so that's helpful. So I think that this film, really there are 2 main places that I see this film being incredibly helpful. One is just for the Jewish community in all of its diversity to see the resilience of the team and your experience and kind of the visceral feeling of learning about October 7th and Israel and, especially at the kibbutz. But I also really want to, have film get us out of the echo chamber of what's happened after October 7th, where the same people are talking to each other and seeing the same stuff and within the algorithm of Instagram and social media. So I think it's really also trying to figure out who's interested. Is it through the NBA? Like, is it through athletics? Who's interested in watching this film that we may be able to reach to tell this story and some element of the story of October 7th, who might not otherwise be interested in. So, who are those partners? So I think we're really kind of trying to look at that. And that might be different religious communities. It might be through athletics, it might, in high schools, on colleges. Yes, we want every Hillel, and my friend Kwame is sitting in the front. Yes, every Hillel is going to show this film, right? But I think we want to get out of the echo chamber too and generate conversation and have people feel empathy and be able to discuss hard things with each other.
And I think that could open the conversation, and it's just so important not to just hear yourself, but actually to learn something from others. And in this case, this film, I think, is a great entryway. I'm going to ask one more question, then we'll open it to questions from the audience. I have a lot more to ask, but I first of all, I want to note that the film is airing on Fox Nation on April 7th. It starts airing there, so you can tell your friends to check it out there. I want to go back to the topic of Israeli players, and obviously the team has a lot of Israeli players, and you mentioned the diversity of these Israeli players. Does that ever cause friction within the team, within going to a yeshiva university? As someone who grew up secular in Israel, I feel like there's that this sometimes can be a little bit of sometimes the challenge in Israel is actually between the secular and the religious more so than other topics. So I'm wondering if this ever plays out.
Yeah, great question. I'll even give one highlight from this past Shabbos. We had there was a high school tournament. Sarachek, where all the Jewish high schools across the country come and play in this tournament. And me and some of the teammates went on the tournament, on the Shabbaton, to inspire them and share words of wisdom, Jewish-related and basketball-related. And I think, I had a bunch of opportunities to speak over the weekend, and I think the most inspiring part was I spoke to a group of Israelis. A bunch of Israelis were there. And most of the kids I inspire, have grew up religious, but these Israelis, it's a little different in Israel. When they see Haredi Jews and very religious Jews, they have outlooks on these people and say, like, they're not the same, they're different. There's, I think that there's sometimes a lot of judging over there. It's everywhere, really. But when I walked away out of the weekend saying that I inspired these Israeli kids to have a bigger outlook and a better outlook on Haredi and religious Jews, of you can play basketball and you can also keep the Jewish values very, very seriously. So that was in terms of that. But I think the team camaraderie tremendously within the team, Israelis, not Israelis, has been incredible. I guess coming in, I thought that maybe the Israelis would look at me differently and think of things of me. But as you guys see in the film, we're best friends, all of us. Doesn't matter how religious you are. We love each other. We have a team, after practice, we have team shachars, team prayers every single day, where all the guys come. Nobody's forced to do anything. They all come. They put on tefillin. They dance. They're enjoying. They're saying passion amains. They love being there. We have team Shabbatons where we're all together. All the guys are enjoying an awesome Shabbaton. Some kids have their phones with them. Some kids don't. Some kids drive there. Some kids don't. But I think the biggest part that I try to do is, as we say, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, to love your friend like you love yourself. And the thing that I try to do is to show them that they're no different than me. We're both Jews. We both have neshamas. We both have the same Jewish soul. And I love them just like they love me. And that I don't look at them differently. I don't judge them. I don't force them to do anything. And I think that by showing them that, and definitely the God-given gift that I have at basketball to inspire them and be a leader on the court, has definitely been a tremendous role. And just that all the guys on the team get together tremendously, and the team chemistry that we have is unfathomable. And yeah, on and off the court, no one judges each other, and everyone looks at each other like we're all Jews and we're all brothers, and we're here to do the same thing.
It was interesting when I was watching the film. I felt like, there's these moments of contrast when secular players are, whatever, like religious moments there are before a game. And then I thought about it, like in the NBA, there's constantly, everyone's thanking God, and it's definitely religion plays in other places too. So why not here? We'd love to make you a part of this. We have a microphone, and happy to pass it to anyone who has questions or comments that you can make in the form of a question. I see some hands up there.
Want to hear a question? No? That's my hand. Any other hands?
A shy crowd. This is unheard of at the JCC. Here we go. Thank you.
I'm Zevi's grandfather. Just to add some drama, as they said, unfortunately what happened this year was not included in the film, but for those interested in the detail, at least you should know that the same team they lost to last year, Farmingdale, was again involved in the very final game of the season, and YU was behind by 16 points? The same place. Right, the same, how many minutes to go or so?
14
minutes. They're down by 16 points, and they were able to win the game, and there's lots of video on the internet that shows the last plays of the game. So people can take it.
Great question.
So after you tell your friends to watch it on Fox Nation, then have them Google the those plays that are, I'm sure, out there.
I think we're trying to add that, right? Yeah, we're going to try to have it on there before.
That's what I was told.
That now you all have to see it again with the new ending. Let me ask you guys one more question. Has this changed anything on campus and campus life?
You mean in terms of October 7th and then basketball?
In terms of the basketball, get all the attention that the basketball team is getting.
So that's unfortunately I haven't hit the attention part, but it's not new. I think it was 2018 was the first time we won the conference in school's history, and the next day, I think the Times and ESPN and like 3 local networks showed up at our practice, and it was like a bunch of Jews won a basketball game and everybody got excited. So it's in that regard, it's not new for us to have media attention or attention around the team. I think what's been unique is the amount of Israelis we have on the team, number one. So I think that's, especially with what's going on and with there being war. And number two, that it's a different group now. It was, kind of the same group from 2018 to, 2022 or so, or 21, that was just winning constantly, in the media and in the news. And now to have this kind of completely new group of student athletes that are there, that are, finding their own success and making their own story, has definitely, I think, drawn a crowd, so to speak. This year I think was a lot more full in the gym than it was last year. All these guys come back, so I anticipate next year will be, even more crowded.
Do we have a question up there? Yes. Oh, always in the back center. Perfect.
Thank you.
I have a.
Say your name.
I have a question.
He's my brother.
This, by the way, this is what our games look like. It's basically just Zevi's family planted all over the stadium.
So the question is, number one, regarding the effect of potentially the timing of the film coming right after the championship game that they won. In addition to, if Zevi could walk us through towards the end before you opened it up to everybody asking questions, you mentioned about God and sports. So I'm just curious if I could hear from Zevi, and you guys also if you want to, about how the championship game from the locker room towards the end of the game took place, and the role that that God played in it, that Zevi experienced, and how that brought up that it could be potentially right now, coming after that win, there's an unbelievable timing of this film coming out. This is for Zevi.
I think that was for you.
Sometimes there's cons of having your family. I'm joking. Only pros. Thanks for coming, everyone. Okay, so, wow, I think I said this at the post-game interview. It's something that meant a lot to me, and I think that I share this a bunch. I hopefully feel that everyone can gain benefit from this. Doesn't matter how religious any of you guys are. I think it all plays the same role. Because we all came here to support the Jewish pride, and that's what the whole film was all about. We went into the locker room, and throughout the whole year, we were doing these amazing things off the court with all the guys on the team. And I never told them that we're going to be guaranteed to win by doing this stuff, but I told them that we have a chance, one step closer to show God that we're doing things for Him, that hopefully He'll help us win the championships. In the locker room, we go down 14 points. I have the same thought as we had last year, down 13 points against the better team with last year. And we come back into the game, and we came within 6 points, and then the other team, Farmingdale, pulled away, and they won by 19. And I come back in the locker room again this year, and we're down 14 points. And the first thing that happens is I put my head down. I said, "Oh boy, this is gonna be a disaster. Like, this team is really good." And when they're up this amount of points, they usually never lose, especially at their home court. And I put my head down, and then right away I picked my head back up, and I said, "We have one thing that they don't have, and that is the power of believing in Hashem, the power of believing in our God and the chosen people." And I said that's the only hope that we have. We're going to obviously go out there and try our best, but we have to daven and pray to God. And I go back in, and I was calm as anything. For some reason, I was not nervous at all. Just calm, and we started. I told God, I said, "Listen, if we win, we're going to have an opportunity to show all the guys on the team that they're going to want to continue to pray. They're going to want to continue to do the team Shabbatons next year. And if we don't win, I don't know if they're going to be interested because they're going to think that it doesn't work." So the whole time
It sounds almost like a threat, actually.
Yeah. I'm threatening God. It was bad. But I said it obviously in a nice way. I said, "Listen." I said, "At the end of the day, you control the outcome. But, I think that it can really be powerful. And the guys will be very interested." And I started praying. I said, "Listen, our team might get an extremely big platform by winning. I don't know what that's going to be." But I said, usually I never promise. But I said, obviously, if you want us to lose, I'll try my best to accept it. But if you want us to win, I promise I'm going to use my platform to inspire more people. And throughout the whole game, a lot of people saw on the internet the last shot, but there was a bunch of other shots that led up to that, and a lot of shots on the other team that went out that needed to go out for us. And just at the end of the game, making all these shots, realizing that every time I made it, it wasn't a shock because it was supposed to happen. We needed to win so that we can inspire more people. And we needed to win so all the guys would be motivated to do it again next year. So when we made these shots and we won the game, I looked straight up to the ceiling and I said, "Thank you, God, for helping us win. Now I'm going to use the platform to inspire people on a greater scale." At the same time, hopefully all the guys will be excited to just continue to appreciate Judaism to the best of their ability, each in their own way. And I think that the film coming out right now is just, by us winning, for some reason, that's what basketball does. It puts the Jewish people on the map, and a lot of people heard about us just because we won. And I think that the film will have just even a bigger impact because a lot of people heard about us that wouldn't, and now a lot of people would just watch the movie and the documentary that might have not, that would be inspired.
I just thought we played really good basketball the last 12 minutes.
It was one or the other, I'm sure. Margaret, just one last question. Oh, we do have. We'll take one last question from the audience there. We'll pass you the microphone. 1 second.
Coming right here.
No. No. It's either you or another family member. So let's.
There was mention during the film that your Shomer Shabbos is a team, and I'm curious about your division. Does the division accommodate your schedule, or how does that? Would you ordinarily be playing on Saturdays, and how does that all work?
Okay, so not the entire team is actually Shomer Shabbos. I would say it's probably about half and half. In terms of, but the university is an Orthodox university. So for those, for those purposes, obviously we don't play on Friday night. We don't play on Shabbat. Our conference accommodates that, so we'll play games when the rest of the conference, let's say, has a schedule on a Saturday afternoon. We will be playing either Saturday night or Sunday. The same thing is the case when we go to the NCAA tournament, which has now been 4 times. The first time we went in 2018, at the time Division III always played their NCAA tournaments Friday night and Saturday afternoon. So it was the first time they actually put a game at, I think we played at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. We lost. Had we won, we would have played Saturday night after Shabbat ended. The following 2 years later, when we went for the second time, we played again at 1 o'clock, and then we won, so we played Saturday night at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. The schedule this year was, again, I think it was, would we play 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday? Had we won, they were going to actually give us a 9 o'clock start because the clock was already getting later with Shabbat, which was really was very nice. But the NCAA and our conference are extremely accommodating schedule-wise.
Margaret, where do people find out more? How can people learn more about the film?
Well,
What is this behind me?
I was checking because I didn't know it was there. This QR code works, I believe. I'm sure Julia tested it. I didn't. Or you can go to lismoreroad.org, and the website is, the whole thing is up there, but if you want to take a screenshot of it. And, you know, there's more information on the campaign. And we will update what's happening on the website. So when people are like, where is it showing? This is all just getting started. We've started fundraising for it. And, you know, there's more to come soon. And this film will be screening on Fox. So it's a rare thing to have a film have distribution and be able to do an impact campaign and ed campaign at the same time. So we're super happy that we can do both. And you can, Julia, just if people have ideas for screenings, what's the best place for people to?
You can grab a postcard on the way out. There's about 100 out there, and it has the same QR code. It has our contact info there. So just be in touch if you want to screen the film, have ideas for us, anything at all.
I want to thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for sharing this. The reception is in the lobby, where you can talk more, engage more, and of course learn more. So thank you very much.